Welcome back everyone to Hearts of Iron 4. Today we are playing as China episode 2. We are at war with Japan. And after last week's episode, I got a couple of good suggestions from you all. One of the most important ones I think was probably to produce CAS. This will allow us to gain air supremacy over Japan and hopefully start pushing them back on land. Right now we definitely have the manpower advantage, but we don't have the division quality advantage. So today's episode is going to be working up to making our divisions just as good as Japan's. So to verbalize the plan here, we're just about to finish our last fort in the fort line. I've only built up to level 5 because I think that's all we'll really need. Japan's not making any headway into China, and we're not making any headway back into Japanese-controlled China. So our next step is to start building military factories. From here, we'll start producing more weapons, more support equipment, and finally, some CAS. We'll have to research that. So it's been about a year since the last time we talked, and we haven't moved one province. I'm working my way up to getting some more support equipment. We have 4 factories assigned. I'm trying to get up to probably around 10. And then after that, we'll start building some close air support. We have huge stockpiles of guns as well, which is going to make any advances a lot easier. I have about 1,000 support equipment stockpiled, which seems like quite a bit, but when I try and add it here, it requires 3.7 thousand. That's a lot. We're about to take our first province back from Japan, and there we go. Awesome. And we're also about to secure another province from Japan as well. I'm trying to take some of these ports back. That way we can jeopardize their presence in this peninsula. Awesome. And it looks like we have pretty successfully cut off the peninsula from each other. Now we just have to make sure to rush to this port and try and snatch it from Japan. And it looks like we've pretty much not been able to do so. Meanwhile, while we wait for this to probably fail, we're going to keep pushing up to the river again, if possible. We now have our 10 factories in support equipment. Let's go ahead and start making some close air support. But we have some air experience from an attaché I've sent to the United Kingdom. And so let's see what we can do. I think we'll start with that. The Japanese are trying to attack out from this peninsula, but they can't really do much. We're building some forts along here which will stop them from doing anything. Germany has finally declared war on the Soviet Union as well, so we're going to see just how well this plays out for both sides. I'm really rooting for the Soviet Union. I'm pretty much buying most of my materials from the Soviet Union, crossing our fingers. And since Japan has been attacking so much on this peninsula, I think we'll be able to start beating them back after their attacks. Japan has landed in the south, which is unfortunate, but the Guangxi clique has 56 divisions, so I'm sure they'll be able to handle it. Japan has also just recently went to war with the United States, and so we can see here that their numbers are really starting to thin up. So I think I'm gonna assign that engineer company. Even though we don't have enough stockpiled, we'll do it. Awesome, and now we just have one more province until we get our river line back up here. Japan is also really focusing heavily on trying to get a mainland invasion. And Japan's front against us is really weak here. I think it's time we push against. I think Japan's just become really spread out with all of their wars. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous how many sides they're fighting, and the Allies will probably come in pretty soon as well. We have made our first cross against the river here. Let's see how much we can exploit that. I'm going to try and get Japan to retreat from this area here. We really exploited that one little province in their line, and we are just pushing back against Japan. Slowly but surely pushing. I might even smell an encirclement here. And we completed the encirclement. Now we just have to hold it down And there we go. That is, wow, a Japanese tank. Motorized vehicle. Good job. We're also approaching Beijing once more. We've actually reached our goal with these 20 divisions, so I'm going to set them a new one to just keep pushing up. I've gone ahead and restructured some of the lines now. It's a bit confusing, but I wanted to make sure that we had our coast guarded, because what happened the last time we didn't? This little Japanese excursion happened, and so we're not going to let them do that again. Alright, and we're pausing our advance now. Gonna let my divisions sort of reshuffle here. We weren't moving too far ahead, and we were losing quite a few people, so I figured we'd just give it a rest. We got not much back actually, just land. We really need to get some supply here, some additional supply, and that's going to consist of taking over this part, this little outcrop Japan has. Right now I'm trying to kind of slowly push back the little outcrop. My supply is weak in these areas, which is worrying because I feel like Japan could very easily kick us out of here. And so I'm trying to handle that. I don't think this is going to go away anytime soon, so I'm not really focusing over here. I think one of the reasons we're experiencing such stiff resistance now from Japan is, one, the supply. If we had good supply, we could totally kick these divisions out. Two, they're getting some volunteers from other countries like Spain. But third, they've been kicked out of French Indochina, and so now they can focus all their efforts on our front. Not good for us. Oh, I think Japan is starting to retreat some of their divisions, which is great. Now we'll be able to kind of push a bit. Okay, you know, one province isn't too bad. Let's see if we can kind of sneak behind them. Not really. What has happened here? Japan broke through? Alright, well, that's okay. Japan got through some of our defenses, which is concerning. So I'm sending down 21 divisions to handle it. Hopefully we'll be able to just kind of take some of these guys out. But in the meantime, we are at risk of exposing other fronts. But that's okay. We'll get through it. Yeah, we got this pretty much under control. Japan just seems to love to strike us where it hurts. But we'll be fine. We'll just get some more divisions here. Oh yeah, we'll be good. You know, while we're not doing the full front anymore, we are slowly starting to, or continuing to push Japan back. The one thing I do have to worry about is my deficit of guns, and that's just because we switched to infantry equipment 3. But aside from that, we are looking good as China. Siam is now with Japan, which might be interesting. So it's currently 1943, and we are working towards pushing Japan back, although we haven't made much progress recently. I'm trying to recover some of my stockpiles, and I'm also starting to lose supply, so those are the two things that we're working on, getting supply and recovering our stockpiles. Taking a look at the war over in Europe, it's kind of difficult to tell who's going to win, unless of course the Allies break out here, but it doesn't look like it. It's kind of difficult to tell who's going to win. The Germans only have 3.5 million losses compared to the Soviets' 9.15 million, but if we look at manpower, you can see that it tells somewhat of a different story. The only thing the Soviet Union has to worry about is equipment, and really that's what's either going to keep them pushing or fail them. Japan is making a full-blown assault in the south. They have quite a few divisions, and it's because as soon as they land in one area, all my other divisions freak out and try and respond. So we're going to have to fix that. I'm not too worried because all we're really doing is just destroying more Japanese manpower. And, I mean, none of us can push against each other up north. It's just a standstill. And I'm just going to let them keep flowing in. Whoa, Japan has actually done some damage in the south here. I think we'll be okay. I'm gonna let my allies take care of it. Meanwhile, I'm just kind of letting them land and then destroying a couple divisions at a time. And they finally evacuated this peninsula. That took forever. And wow, Japan is really trying to land on us here. And they landed 11 divisions. Never mind. I thought we would have gotten it, but whatever. I'm gonna take care of this invasion in the south. I'm trying to seize this port here. We just exploited Japan's weakness over here, seized another port. Our supply is still not the best. I think it's because of this province, which I'm currently improving their supply, and so I'm hoping that'll help us out a bit. Meanwhile, we are really hurting for equipment, but that's okay. We're slowly pushing back Japan in the south. Japan is getting really aggressive with these pushes. They're pushing up north, they're attacking in the south, they're pushing near Shanghai, they're pushing up north. They're really trying to get on our mainland here, but I'm just trying to handle this and then worry about up north. Luckily, it seems like even though these division numbers that are landing on our mainland are strong, they are repellable. Wow, and Moscow has fallen. It seems like Germany might win here, which would be very unfortunate. We're spending the majority of the war just fighting against Japan. The Japanese advance in the south is pretty much done. We're not going to be able to kill a ton of these divisions because there's a fort on this port, and so it's really hard to break, but at least we're getting them out of our hair. Especially as Japan has just launched another pretty major assault against our coasts. We finished them up down south. Up north has remained pretty much the same, but we now have supply everywhere, thankfully. We were winning the Allies, I should say, last year, and then this year you look at the map and the Soviets are screwed, and Japan has the Philippines and Indonesia and Malaysia, British Malaya, and so it's definitely getting worrying, that's for sure. Starting an offensive is faring pretty successful here. We've trapped the Japanese at their port. I'm gonna try and keep pushing, hopefully kill a couple of their divisions at the least, but yeah, maybe we'll be able to keep pushing some. Oh, and Japan just evacuated the port. And something like 4 or 5 years after we lost it, we have finally regained this outcrop here, this peninsula. It took us forever, but we did it. Now I'm going to make sure to continue keeping 24 divisions stationed right here. It looks like we're also taking Beijing as well. I am going to have to stop all the offenses, though. As much as we're like sort of pushing, it's just not worth the equipment loss. We need to regain our equipment, regain the initiative, and continue pushing. Okay, now Japan's just re-landed in Guangxi Click, and they suck at doing their job, apparently. We're gonna have to patrol their coasts now. Lesson learned. Okay, we've pretty much taken care of Japan in the south, so let's try and redeploy. I really just find myself sort of managing all of the different landings here. I would pump out some more divisions, but we just don't have equipment yet, so I cannot. Okay, I think we finally got the invasions under control. They're doing another round. I don't see any real big deals yet, and I'm really just trying to get my equipment back up. So over the next 100 days, that's what we are going to be focusing on doing, as well as just fending off more invasions from Japan. It's gonna be the goal. It's not too hard once they land, in groups of 3 like that, it's not bad. Or like this one here, it's pretty easy, but it's just a lot of micromanaging. You know, we don't have much equipment, but these guys here seem to be making excellent pushes, so I'm just gonna try real quick. Let's just see how we do. If it's struggling, we'll stop. Or maybe we'll just push up, advance a few provinces, and then stop. So far, not too bad. I would love to surround these divisions. I just don't think it's possible. Oh, here they go. And we are actually about to do it. There we go. So we have surrounded 9 Japanese divisions. Meanwhile, our borders are looking okay. We're looking good. We're continuing to push in the north. We have reached that 20,000 mark. Do I stretch it out? Maybe at 25,000? We'll see. We are in May of 44. Have the Allies landed yet in Normandy? No, they have not. Somehow, Soviets are still holding on, just grinding down the Germans, hopefully. Not too much. Oh, look at them. Okay, so it looks like Japan is sending their units back up north, possibly for some of them. That is no bueno. We're going to focus on kicking these guys out. Yunnan wants to send us 12 divisions. That would be helpful, actually. And we're pushing across right here. We've taken the last port from this island, so the remaining divisions here should fall quickly. And there they pretty much go. Pretty much done. Great. So now these guys can all be combined. Okay, we continue to push up north. We're at a 30,000 deficit though. I think it's time we stop pushing. We've made some serious headway once again, but I think it's time to stop the push. And with those developments, I think I am going to leave it here for today. It's been quite the ride. We pushed extremely far. We lost a ton of equipment, and we've beaten back the Japanese from our coast probably 100 times. Japan is faltering. They can't hold everything. And it's only really a matter of time until they crumble. Meanwhile, we are pushing deep into the north. Next week, we'll probably capitulate both of their puppets and hopefully make peace with Japan. But until then, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.